everyone, I am MSK, aka MasterSwagKing, coming at you guys today with another video. And in today's video, I am going to be giving you guys a channel update for 2024. But before I cover anything that I'm going to be covering in this channel update video for 2024, I would please ask you to follow me on my X account, formerly known as Twitter, at C9MSK8. And the reason why you want to follow me on X is because this is the place where I'm going to be giving out frequent updates regarding content, not just on this channel, but my Rumble and Twitch and X accounts as well. Potentially, you'll get updates on, what video I'm going to be doing specifically on any given day moving forward and in the future as well. So now I'm going to be going over just 2023 in general for myself. And then after that, I'm going to be talking about my goals for 2024, as well as breaking that down between like actual videos you guys are going to be getting, and obviously the podcast, and gaming streams and watch parties as well. So for 2023 overall, it was a fine year for the most part. I felt like what's the best way of putting this? A lot to be desired is the best way of putting this. I felt like I accomplished the goal that I set out to do in 2023, which was basically, better usage of my time. That was my New Year's resolution for 2022. A lot of you guys heard me talk about that. If you had previously, subscribed to me on my other YouTube channel, right, was I mentioned that going into 2023, I was going to have this better usage of my time. And I actually accomplished that. But throughout 2023, I found out that I had a few more extra hours than I thought I even had, right? So going through the rest of this year, and obviously trying to stick to this resolution, I'm going to try to find better ways to utilize the extra hours I didn't know I had going into 2023. So since I've already completed one resolution, I'm just going to basically, enhance that New Year's resolution I had at the end of 2022. So the extra hours could be spent either, getting more videos done, getting the comic books and graphic novels and mangas all read so I could review them for you guys, just things like that. Or obviously go to the gym a little bit more throughout the week. Just there's plenty of things that I could do with these other extra hours that I wasn't doing in 2023. That I feel like was my biggest fault overall. But outside of, losing the main YouTube channel, I had to obviously rebrand this channel into the main channel. And as you guys know, this channel covers pretty much everything regarding what I like, which is basically movies, TV shows, anime, video games, manga, comic books, all that stuff, right? And you're going to be seeing content regarding all that stuff, but it's not going to be like on an overload. It's not going to be like you're going to get all certain things in like every day. It's going to be obviously broken down, spread out throughout the year. It's going to be on a consistent basis. And if you're a fan of just any of these things, you could basically have a big enjoyment with all the content that's there, obviously, because I like all this stuff and I kind of want to talk about all this stuff. And that's pretty much just my opinion about this stuff for the most part. And given how there's going to be news regarding like all this stuff, then I can do like videos covering like all the news regarding movies, TV, anime, streaming, video games, comic books, and manga. So that's pretty much it for how I felt about 2023. I felt like our rebrand was good. I also felt like I had to spend a lot more time getting the podcasts where I want them to be, and they got where I want them to be. And the Nightwing podcast ended at 268 episodes. And the Iron Man podcast, which is the main podcast for like, all the stuff that I mentioned earlier, as well as like the one-on-ones that I used to do on the Batman podcast and stuff like that. And that Iron Man podcast, end of the year, given how we were pretty much screwed by what YouTube did to us, ended at 265 episodes. I was 3 episodes off from hitting my goal, right? So we did a very good job, and I did the calculations for the Iron Man podcast and the Cloud9 podcast, actually. And if we stick on track with both of them are going to be hitting some pretty big numbers very, very soon. So yeah, I was able to, get one more podcast going that pretty much covers all that stuff. And I told people, hey, I really want to make sure we get this right. Like obviously, one of the more successful things I was able to do was like podcasting, actually, which I've been very, very good at. But I had to kind of, learn and grow over time while doing it. Different subjects require different levels of research and context and all that stuff. And it's fun talking about the things with other people, agreeing and disagreeing, but having a vibe where it's not hostile, it's not random shouting, arguing, which I don't really care for myself about the podcast that I'm doing. But, other people do it, and I was like, okay, this is what we're going to be doing for other channels. But, the ones that I have, I just didn't want that anymore. So I just chose to, change the vibe up and get it to where I want it to be. And now a lot of people seem to enjoy it, and people see where I was really coming from, which is awesome, actually. So I actually tweeted this out, and this is my pinned tweet for all of 2024. So I can look back and go, did I actually accomplish these things? So goals for 2024 are going to start going over in this tweet, right? Because this is kind of what I want to achieve, but also there's other smaller goals in that as well, And since the year basically just started, we have so much to do actually, But I'm going to start this off by talking about just the videos itself you're going to see. So anything that you guys think I'm going to be covering is going to most likely be covered. Now, obviously, it's not going to be an overload of it. We're going to obviously take our time with one thing at a time, but that's kind of the beauty of this, right? And then that's why I told you guys to follow me on X, because you'll get updates on, okay, maybe on this day, at this time, I'm dropping a video based around like why Star Wars, the sequel trilogy from Disney, utterly failed, fans' expectations, things like that, right? So as for the videos, you guys know you're getting content specifically surrounding all of that. And for my League of Legends fans out there who initially subscribed to the channel because of League of Legends content, yes, League of Legends content is staying on the channel, as well as I'm going to be doing, those weekly recap videos I tried to do this year in 2023. Those are going to happen a lot more. The reason why I stopped wasn't because I didn't like doing them. Obviously, I just got really, really busy, and due to losing the main YouTube channel, I had to kind of rebrand, and I had to focus more of my time on other things. So I kind of lost talking about, League of Legends weekly. But we do have the podcast for that. But, there's people that don't watch podcasts. There's people that would like to consume it just in video form of content, obviously. So, yes, anything you can think of regarding anything I'm passionate about, you're getting content based around, okay? So, the goals for 2024. First things first, get things done in a timely manner. I know people have ragged on me about this, and I do fully agree with you guys. Getting things done in a timely manner is a problem that I have. So I'm going to try and get, if there's news coming out that day, at that time, I'm going to try and get it done in a timely fashion where you won't be seeing anything like that basically 1 to 3 days late, for the most part. There is older stories that I do still want to cover regarding news for the topics that I enjoy, because it's still very apparent because a lot of people haven't heard about these things. So unless it's so big and important that a lot of people haven't heard about it, there's a good chance I may or may not cover it. But that's kind of the point. When new news drops on something, I want to make sure I get the video done, get it edited, and put it out for you guys. Getting it done in a timely manner within 1 to 3 days, obviously, Then there's also something where, doing news videos could be beneficial because it lets you know what's happening right in that moment, as well as kind of waiting for them is a good thing as well too, because it gives you a lot more of a better perspective on things when you're thinking about a topic. Because, a lot of people make news videos and they're kind of giving their first initial reactions. So this is a really beneficial way to kind of let my thoughts simmer for the most part. All right, consistency. Upload a video a day to YouTube. So I got really, really popular from basically uploading a video pretty consistently. I would upload sometimes 5 days a week, sometimes 3 days a week. Not on that level yet again. I'm going to take my time. But for the most part, you can expect a video a day. There's going to be days I miss, obviously, but then I'll definitely make it up the following day if I can. But for the most part, you might see me miss Saturday, Sunday. But for the most part, you're going to be getting videos 5 to 7 days a week, actually. Then you have the Iron Man podcast. The goals for that are 450 episodes and upload all episodes to podcasting platforms. So currently right now, the only way for me to get the Iron Man podcast really up onto podcasting platforms is basically if I upload the episodes into my backup YouTube account, because YouTube has a great system with this kind of thing, and I just download all of them at some point which I have all the episodes for the most part. I'm almost there. Currently, right now, while I am recording this video for you guys, I am at episode 74? No, I'm at episode like 78. Yeah, currently at 78, about to end the 70s, and we're going to be getting through the 80s, the 90s, and the 100s. But I only need to get it to like episode 136. Okay? So after episode 136, I have every episode from 137 all the way to where we're currently at now. The reason why this has happened is because I totally forgot that StreamYard saves your VODs. So when I first did the Iron Man podcast, I didn't realize that. I had a bunch of older VODs that I could have just easily deleted to free up space on my StreamYard account, but I didn't. So by the time I figured that out, I was like on around episode 137, starting right there. So I just saved all the episodes from that number all the way to where we're at now. And when I deleted stuff, I had episodes from like 17, 16 to like 23. So there's a lot of ground to be made up there. But once I get in my backup account and it's uploaded to like episode 136, I can fully start downloading a good amount of them and putting them out. But when I do start putting up episodes of the Iron Man podcast out on the podcasting platforms, you're not going to see new episodes of the Cloud9 podcast because I want the newest episodes of the Iron Man podcast to come out simultaneously with the new episodes of the Cloud9 podcast. I want, the newest episodes coming out. And then if you want to binge the entirety of all the seasons of the Cloud9 podcast or the Iron Man podcast episodes we have out, then you can do that on your own. But if you want the newest stuff, you can have the newest stuff readily available to you right as we get done with it. I want to basically get done with the episodes, download them, and then upload them straight. We're going to be doing things in a much more timely manner, in a much more of a consistency fashion, which I really enjoy, actually. So, yeah, since we were able to do 265 episodes in the span of between like August, September, October, November, December, about 5 months, I know we could definitely get to the episode number for the Iron Man podcast. And yeah, that's all I really want, is to get the episodes up on the podcasting platforms and then upload the newest episodes as we do them. That's pretty much it. The Cloud9 podcast, obviously, the goal is 250 episodes, which is not bad, and 12 seasons. We're going to be hitting 10 seasons very soon. I think 12 seasons, a lot of people are going to go, how are you going to hit 12 seasons, though? Because the Cloud9 podcast, since it's seasons, I cap out my seasons at 23 episodes on the show. And if me and Chaz do 2 episodes every week for the entirety of 2024, that's what, like 96 some odd episodes. And since, I do 23 episode seasons, we're going to be at season 12 in no time, right? Then, as you guys saw with season 9 of the Cloud9 podcast, we were able to do like extra episodes consistently because we just kept getting a whole lot of off-season news, right? So that was super beneficial for that season as well as just the show number overall. So yeah, I think those are reasonable numbers for the Cloud9 podcast, as well as, getting to 12 seasons would be awesome because that would be the number of seasons that the Nightwing podcast ended. And if I could pass season 12 episode, I think like 15 is where it ended off at, that'd be awesome right there. So I have one episode where it's just episode centric and one where it's just season. So I get the best of both worlds. I get to have my cake and eat it too. Last thing on the list right here is begin writing my book. So as everyone knows from talking to me on the Iron Man podcast and just talking to me personally, I really do want to start this. It's something that I've been contemplating for a very, very, very long time. Basically just, finally writing a book. I don't care if people read it. I don't give a fuck about that. I just want to do it for myself, to finally put my ideas out there in a story with a main character, supporting characters, a villain, a whole entire dedicated universe to my ideas that I've had in my head for a long time. I used to write stories actually a long time ago when I was in high school, but I just kind of fell off doing it because, literally life happened. But I want to eventually get back on and do this again. And the reason why I say late 2024 is because there's plenty of other things that I want to do first, as far as content-wise, before I start doing that. But I will be basically giving more people a lot more updates on this later on this year. As far as like, did I get past the drafting phase? What phase am I currently at? Late 2024, I kind of want to begin writing, and hopefully by early 2025, maybe have a physical release. Now, make sure I say this. The reason why I don't care if people read it is because people generally lie about reading books from their friends or their colleagues anyway. And I'm kind of just only really doing this for a passion project for the most part, right? Obviously, my mindset could change on this very, very, very quickly, give or take if it's successful or whatever. But yeah, I do really, really want to do this. It's one of my biggest passions, honestly, is begin writing my book, which is basically covering, whatever story I'm going to actually bring together. I've thought about it for a long time, but, want to put out my thoughts out there on a whatever program to write out the story, characters, how pacing, all that stuff. You guys know how writing is actually. So yeah, for the most part, I think we're going to be doing pretty good things in 2024. And if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, please do so. I'm going to be putting out some great content this year. And the biggest thing I really want to go for is definitely, because everything else is pretty much easy to do. Because I try to set like easy, reasonable goals that are definitely achievable. What I like to do, obviously, outside of just like getting the book started to be written, basically just consistency of uploading. I know I found a lot of success with uploading a lot, but definitely have to pace myself with that because I have many more things I have to think about now, which is basically, podcast and what we're going to talk about, how long the podcasts are going. The podcasts don't really have a definitive length outside of just getting past an hour, which is the minimum length for the shows. But yeah, that is pretty much it. There's going to be a lot of content surrounding, comic books. You guys know I'm big into that, obviously. I bought a lot, gonna open them for like the mail days. Those are returning, so I can open them for you. You guys can see what I'm buying, see what I'm getting. I'm gonna read them, review them. It's gonna be awesome. I can't wait for what this year has to offer the channel, and I can't wait for you guys to see what I'm gonna put out. And hopefully you guys will be here with me on this journey. But the reason why I wanted to release this video first over any other video is because I wanted to kind of start the year outright with a video like this and then proceed on to other things. So the next video I should be doing is my most anticipated movies to watch in 2024. Not gonna be a lot of them because there's probably not a lot of good stuff that comes out now, but we're gonna be doing videos like that. Make sure those come out first, and then we could do like other things. So yeah, that should be my next video among like talking about like potentially movies, TV show seasons, watch parties. Those are coming back. You have to follow me on Rumble, Twitch, and X for that, because I can't put those out on YouTube, and gaming streams. So another little smaller, bigger goal I had was saving up for a new PC, actually. So I've had this tower since like 2018. Been about a good 5 some odd years. So just time to just get a new PC, get a new PC, because it's just going to be a whole lot better overall, faster. We can produce more stuff with that generally. And obviously there's other things I want, but just that, getting a new PC so we can obviously game a lot more. As you guys know, I play League of Legends and Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel a lot, but I definitely want to play other games as well. And the only way to really do that at a good rate consistently is to have a better PC, obviously. So that's another one of my bigger goals for 2024. But these are ones that I put out on X because these are the more like easier, manageable ones that I know we can get done for this year. I do want to give a huge shout out to every single person that helps me out with the podcast. As you guys know, with the Iron Man podcast, we have episodes on Monday Mayhem, Tuesday's Big Showdown, Wednesday Top G's. That's just me and Miss 1776, as we're going to be we're going to pick out to watch movies and review them for you guys, or TV shows or anime or whatever her brain functions off of, which is mostly clout. Give or take some days, right? She's a clout vampire, as I tell you guys. Thursday, we don't have anything definitively for Thursday. I like to keep Thursday open just in case I need to go watch a new movie with a new Thursday night preview or whatever for a movie, or if I have a one-on-one. But for the most part, if you don't see a show Thursday, you'll probably select maybe a TCG podcast that day, or maybe you might get an extra episode of the Iron Man podcast. Thursday is just a free day. Friday bangers, and then you have Saturday SmackDown, and you have Sunday, and Sunday is the Cloud9 podcast day, as well as the TCG podcast with me and Chaz. But also and yeah, that's just, that's the Iron Man podcast. The Cloud9 podcast days going into 2024 are going to be Sunday and Wednesday. So that way we get 2 episodes a week in, and that way we have nice consistency with that. So yeah, the Iron Man podcast, which is going to be Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, which is pretty much 6 days a week, actually. Cloud Night Podcast, 2 days a week. And there you go. That is pretty much all of what the channel is going to be about. I know like people will go like, you should do this, that. I'll do what I know is best because, well, I've had a lot of success doing what I've already been doing, so I just keep doing it for the most part. Obviously, I've learned a lot about how to pace myself and understand, you can't really overload too much. You got to take breaks. But after you take breaks, you got to get back onto doing it again because you don't want to take too long of a break. That means you start, losing your consistency, track record too. As far as movie projects, the ones we're going to really tackle in 2024 is the Saw franchise, the Monsterverse, and the Planet of the Apes series, as well as, I'm pretty sure there was another one in there as well. There's another movie series I wanted to tackle. Maybe I'll probably go back and watch the Despicable Me movies because Despicable Me 4 drops. But those are the three that I really wanted to go over, right? So gonna get back to doing movie projects so we can just watch and review all the older ones before the newest one. That way it kind of builds up some hype right there, obviously. But thank you guys for sticking out with me this long journey. You guys are awesome. I'll see you guys later. Like, comment, and subscribe. Most of all, enjoy. I am MSK, MasterSwagKing. I'm signing out, guys. See you guys later. Deuces. Peace.